Good morning, guys. Typically at night, you'll be joining me for a beer. Typically in the mornings, it's coffee. And a new film, yet another video nasty. So 1979's Don't Go in the House. How many of these are we going to have? Don't go in the house. Don't go in the woods. Don't be afraid of the dark. Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead, which was kind of terrifying in its own right. How about, don't tell me what to do. I'm gonna watch this movie anyway. Either way, it's another video nasty. It's kind of grindhousey. Unfortunately, the version I watched was actually the cut version. The movie was forced to remove 3 minutes total of footage, which, in film is a shitload of footage, because things can happen second to second. But the baseline plot of it is Donnie Kohler is a pyromaniac, mentally disturbed guy from an abusive childhood. His mom used to hold his arms over the stovetop, burn shit out of him when she thought he was being evil. Grows up, finds her dead in a rocker from old age, torches the shit out of her, decides, why not? Just watched a dude catch fire at work, came home, found my mom dead. I think I'm going to build a steel room in the house and kidnap women, burn them alive, dress them up in my mom's old clothes, and set them up in rocking chairs in a room so that I can have slaves, basically, people to talk to. Because, as one does. He's got a buddy, so to speak, named Bobby. Kind of forces himself on him as a friend. He's actually a pretty likable dude. He also tends to visit his priests. And of course, here I am again with a shit memory, so I've got notes in front of me. Father Garrity, that's really the gist of it. It's a slow burn. I see what I just did there. It does move really slow. There's a lot of times when it seems like it's just dragging. Does it hurt the story? At its core, not really. I think they were trying to go for you just kind of watching Donnie's slow descent into total madness. But let's just get to brass tacks. Okay, get off my lawn. That was a really old saying. So the best acting performance in the film is hands down Donnie, played by Dan Grimaldi. They discovered him in a Broadway stage performance and approached him several times to be in the film before he ultimately said yes. And he really just steals the show. He gives you that uncomfortable feeling, especially when he actually kisses one of the burnt husks that he's got set up in the room. The best friend tends to come off a little annoying. He's like that one guy that just attaches himself to you and won't go away. And then the priest is likable, but the dude can't act. And I don't know if I should fault him for lack of talent, because I don't recall seeing him in anything else. But then again, I haven't paid that much attention to that particular actor, or if it's just shit writing. And this film does have a lot of shit writing. In point blank and simple, Donnie goes into the church and says, my mother used to burn me. And the priest, dead nuts, looks at him and says, "You mean your mother did this to you?" Yeah, that's what he just said. He said my mom put these burn scars on my hands. Are you fucking listening? the film is very good at creating that uncomfortable atmosphere, even in the slower moving sections of it. Donnie does come across quite unnerving. So, I mean, if any of the negative things I've got to say, Dan Grimaldi really stole the show with this. I think that Bobby was probably too much character for the film. There were times when it seemed like he was just spouting lines just for the sake of spouting lines. So it's hard for me to determine what amount of that was improv and what amount was actually scripted. Generally, when you're acting, film or stage, there are certain times where you'll improv here and there in the script just because you feel like that's what the character would say and do in that moment. It seems almost to me like the guy that played him, Robert Oss, was just trying to fill in what he perceived to be dead air. So I don't know what he was thinking there. As far as the video nasty controversy, this falls right during it. And just to remind you, the video nasty controversy was a deal back in the late 70s through the 80s and even in the early 90s, where the UK determined that these films violated the Decency Act that they had passed of 1959. And some of these films were prosecuted. Some of these films were banned, and almost all of them were forced to cut footage if they were to ever see the light of day of a theatrical release, and Don't Go in the House is no different. So like I said at the beginning of the video, 3 minutes was cut out. I've looked up images. I can't find the footage anywhere. They released a DVD in 2005 with the uncut footage on it. I might pick it up. I don't know. But I streamed it on Tubi, and it's the theatrical release of it. And from what I've seen, it's a whole lot of just nudity, but it's not sexualized nudity. It's kind of uncomfortable. These girls are tied up, they're panicking, they're freaking out. It's not, even in your horror movies where you do have a certain amount of nudity, there can be some allure to that. And that's part of what makes it visceral and terrifying. And in this film, it's just raw. I want to say, honestly, if they left it in, it probably would have made the kills 1,000 times more disturbing. There's nothing attractive about it. These girls are covered in sweat. Some of them have injuries on them, and they're tied up. They're freaking out and panicking, crying, and really just put on a great performance. Even in the cut that I saw, where you don't get that much, and it does graphically show them burning, which kudos to that effect. When they did it in the most uncomfortable way you could imagine. So I'm not going to sit here and shit on this movie. I mean, there's things wrong with it, but at the same time, it's really worth the watch. Again, it is a slow burn, so it's a film that you have to be really patient with, honestly. Cinematography wise, it doesn't look bad. It's not ugly. It sounds fine for a 1979 grindhouse flick. A lot of reviews that I read kind of bitched about it being classified as a video nasty, but it's not, overly gory and full of nudity and foul language and just, trying to see how far it can push the envelope. It's more of that, and I keep using the word, and I'm sorry, but uncomfortable ride of watching this dude deteriorate after, years and years and years of physical and emotional abuse from his mother that he still experiences even beyond her death. And the closing scene of the film, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, is probably one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever watched, because child abuse is kind of a trigger for me. I don't sit well with it. And if you want to be able to brag that you watched something kind of fucked up, Don't Go in the House is one to put under your belt for sure. If you want to see the uncut version, look for the 2005 DVD release. There is a Blu-ray. I'm pretty sure that's also the uncut. It may also have the cut version on it. If you want to watch it just right damn now, and you don't care about seeing the cut footage, which, frankly, from what I've seen the photos, you're missing some things. It could add to the film, but it's not absolutely critical. Go ahead and check it out. It's free. You can rent it on Amazon. I don't have to tell you all this. It's called Google. Fucking look it up. But yeah, don't go in the house. No, do go in the house. Go in the house. Check it out. And enjoy a video nasty that's easy to access and has lots of disco music in it. Yes. Disco music. And strangely, it works. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me this morning. If you like what you see, if you've been enjoying these videos, hit subscribe, hit the like button, ring the bell so I can annoy you with notifications every time I post something new. Also, check out Beer and a Movie. We've got an episode coming up soon. As soon as I can talk Wes into watching the movie, which I think might actually be a good movie. But he doesn't trust me. He's right to not trust me. And until next time, cheers.